All right, we are back here on the podcast, getting you ready for another baseball season here. MLB over under totals here, and a special baseball that's just showing the money. As is tradition on the podcast, we have back here with us to do the baseball over unders. Our legal correspondent, Phil Fraietta, is here. Phil, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for coming on here as well. And I do think here, obviously, like we had a very interesting offseason here in terms of like it was not the big Juan Soto chase of last year, but there was a lot of like important player movement, I feel like, apart from the Yankees and Phillies just ran it back.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Tucker thing. Obviously, that was kind of the big splash of the offseason, but I think the Mets really revamped and retooled their team. They're going to look very different out there this year, and thought Boston had a pretty active offseason. Baltimore certainly getting Pete. So there were a lot of moving pieces out there.
Yeah, they certainly were here, and definitely a lot of intriguing movement for the offseason as well here. Like I'm not as big into the WBC that's going on right now. Like I am keeping a close eye on the labor stuff here, and there's already been stuff floated about, the owners want a salary cap after the everybody's brains melted with when Tucker took the Dodger deal. So what's your takeaway from what we've seen so far? Because I think I've been firmly in the camp that the players will never let this happen, and we're gonna end up missing games because of it.
Yeah, we have been talking about that on this podcast and warning about it for I think 3 years now, 2 or 3 years.
Probably since the last
And
CPA was signed.
yeah, and here we are. And I think you're right. I don't think the players are ever going to go for salary cap. We've explained it before on the podcast, but the from the players' perspective, a salary cap is simply a way to suppress salaries. They're not. They don't believe that it's going to increase competitive balance. And the players will tell you that when it comes to parity, there's no sport with better parity than baseball.
Yeah.
That that's the argument they'll make. You can complain about the Dodgers all you want, but that's where we are.
Yeah, a couple of notes I'll throw in here on this, in my opinion, here is like, as another one of the figures that have been talked about, John Heyman said that we're looking at, owners want a cap of 250 and a floor of 160, which I've never seen a salary cap in my life where the spread is that big to the floor and the ceiling, which is a system floor that players will never go for, number one. And number two, like, I can't see teams like the Marlins, the Rockies, the Reds, these teams that don't spend money regularly giving me $160 million payrolls every year. I don't see that happening.
No, that's an interesting perspective there, because the general assumption is that the owners are going to be in kind of in unison, and and perhaps that's not the case. I think you might be right. I think some of these smaller market owners might be saying, hold on, wait a minute, the floor can't be that high."
Yeah,
And once you have a rift amongst ownership, that's gonna that gives the player some leverage, of course.
because I'm looking at it just in terms of, like in the instance, the NFL, usually the salary cap is like 300 million, say. Usually the floor is like 280. Like I've never seen a salary cap where like it's about $100 million separation between top and bottom.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're ultimately going to agree to some sort of a. I do think games will be missed, and I think that the resolution will be some sort of an increased luxury tax. Um,
Yeah.
but I can't really see much further. The one thing that is a bit of a weakness, though, on the union side is that historically the union where they've started to fall is they've had cracks, particularly when it comes to foreign players from poorer countries
Yeah.
who this is I mean it's the amount of money you make to play Major League Baseball is obviously life-changing money no matter who you are, but from a poorer country it's a much bigger deal, and those guys do not like to give up years of earning potential. Now, I know the union is amassed a war chest and that'll help, but it will run out. And I think kind of what the owners are banking on.
Yeah, I think that's one thing here. In terms of the players are making on the competitive balance here, like in the parity here, they're dead on here because like I saw a great tweet from someone a few weeks ago. I don't remember who it was offhand. It said, the cap doesn't guarantee that, like you're gonna have like every team suddenly in the mix of the playoffs every year. Like if you over the last 20 years, you're better off being a fan of the Guardians and the Browns if you're a Cleveland sports fan. Like just because you have like a cap that the Dodgers can spend does not mean that, the Rockies are suddenly gonna be a run better.
No, absolutely not. And you have to look no further in baseball than teams like the Tampa Bay Rays, perennially a low payroll, but they're in competition in pretty much every year.
Yeah,
And then you're right. On the flip side, there's teams out there like the Rockies, who that organization is just a dumpster fire.
yeah. Just because you say the Dodgers can't spend more than 250 doesn't mean the Rockies suddenly get better identifying baseball players and get guys to come play there.
No, it doesn't increase competitive balance at all. What it does do is it makes free agency more exciting.
To a degree.
Yeah, to a degree, because it will increase the amount of teams who are in on free agents. That's true.
Yeah, all right. So I think we had enough on the labor. We'll keep an eye on that in the future. I'm sure we'll be back in November talk about why we're in the middle of a lockout again. But let's get to our annual tradition here, the MLB over unders here. So
Yeah,
to
let's try and enjoy a year of baseball because who knows what we're gonna get next year.
yep, so to reset how we did last year on the standings here, Phil went 2-4 on his picks. I went 4-2 on my picks and narrowly missed on a fifth. So I had a good run last year.
Yes, you did. I know you had that bad loss with the Cardinals on the last day of the season. My picks look rough here, particularly the Blue Jays. That one looks real bad.
Yeah, well, they went to the World Series. It's hard to feel good about
Eh,
taking the under.
no, that's right.
All right, so as the guest here, I'll give you the first choice here. Would you like the number one pick, or would you like picks 2 and 3?
I'm going to take the number one pick because I just and you've done this in the past couple of years, and I'm going to steal it from you here. Give me the under on the Dodgers and the 102.5.
Yeah,
You were right to do that. It just assumes perfect health across the board. Uh, I don't have any reason to assume that, and I don't think the Dodgers are even building a team for that purpose. The Dodgers' philosophy to starting pitching seems to be get as many guys as we can, and we'll see who's healthy come October.
yeah,
So given that, I expect there to be some bumps during a long regular season, and keep in mind it's a team that won 93 games last year.
yeah. And this is the same thing I said last year. I said the year before that. You're right to take the pick here. Like, this is a spot where the Dodgers could win 101 baseball games and you still win the bet. Like, they could improve by 8 games year to year because they brought in Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz, and you're still winning the under bet.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's also keep in mind here that last year there was not a single team in baseball that won 100 games.
Yes.
I believe the same is true in 2024. I don't think anybody in baseball won 100 games.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah,
double.
that's correct.
I think
No,
23
nobody
is
in
the last.
24.
23 is the
So the
last time.
last, yeah, the last time somebody won 100 games is 2023. So winning 100 games is hard. It's very hard, and I just it requires the kind of health that these teams don't really build for anymore. That's not the philosophy of top level organizations like the Dodgers. The philosophy is stay healthy enough to win the division, get into the playoffs, and hope that we have our big guns ready to go.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense here. So I love that pick. That was number one on my board if you hadn't done it. So I'm up now for two. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go to one of my other favorite picks every single year. I'm going over 84.5 on Milwaukee. Because I feel like this is a team
Uh,
every single year. You can say whatever you want about the Brewers, no matter who they lose, It doesn't matter what they do. They say offseason, they trade away Peralta, they trade away Caleb Durbin. This team finds a way to win baseball games, and they know what they're doing over there. Does it translate to October? Not always. They won 97 last year. You're telling me losing Peralta and a couple other guys takes you down 13 wins? I don't think so. I think this team is still a 90 win team as constructed. So give me the over on the Brewers.
I like that pick. That's where I was going next, actually. And look, this is a team that since 2021 has won around 90 games every single year. Like you said, another example of what we started with on this podcast. Actually, you can go back even further and they're winning 90 games. But another example of what we talked about at the beginning on this podcast, that is a well run organization. They
Yeah.
don't have a huge payroll, but they're always in it.
Yeah, they are always in it. And like I would bet them to win the Central again. Like I would take that bet. I know the Cubs made the big splash at Bregman, but like give me Milwaukee's track record of finding guys. And like they trade Peralta away, they have all these athletic players. Like they'll turn some guy they have in their system into a stud. Like they'll be right there.
Yeah, and they don't have to win the division for you to win this one. They just have to be a competitive team.
Yeah, I would take the Brewer making the playoff bet. I think that's gonna be pretty good, be good value for you.
I like the pick.
All right, so I'm up next year. I'm going to go with an under here to sort of balance this out here. I'm going to stay in the same division. I'm going under 69.5 on the Cardinals. And the Cardinals are finally rebuilding. They have not done, they're overdue to rip that core down a little bit. A lot of guys have gone out the door in the offseason. They traded away Nolan Arenado. They traded Brendan Donovan. They traded Wilson Contreras. They sent a bunch of guys out the door. And can you name five Cardinals right now, Phil, on the roster?
Mason Wynn at shortstop, and that's about it.
Yeah. Like this team, and the Central's competitive. Obviously, the Brewers and the Reds made the playoffs last year with the Cubs. Three teams out of there. The Pirates are trying to get better. Who TBD how well they're going to do. They do have Paul Skeens here. This is a Cardinal team that last year they won 78 games. Like I look at this roster, I'm like, I don't think this team's gonna win more than like 65. Like they really are just kind of, gonna give the kids a chance here, which they need to do. I don't think it happens for them. I think they're gonna go. I'm gonna go under. I think it's gonna be a lean year, and they got the. And it gets bad when you're having to run the like all you can eat food tickets to try and get people in the building.
Yep. I like that pick.
All right, so you're up now here with you've taken obviously the best under on the board with the Dodgers here. Where are you going next?
Think I'm gonna go back to the well that I've been riding the past couple of years, and it's treated me well. Over Detroit Tigers, 85 and a half. I think the Tigers are a pretty good team. I know they had an abysmal finish to last season where they lost that division lead on the last day of the year, whatever it was, but they still managed to win 87 games. I think the Tigers are a 90 some win team. They have very, very good young talent in the lineup. They should get a monster season out of Scooble in the contract year. So give me the over on the Tigers.
I like that too. Obviously, they bring Verlander back too. They add Framber Valdez. They add some pitching to the rotation to help Scooble out here. And this is a team I think you like that over because like if they're close to the deadline and they know they have one shot to win with Scooble before he goes and takes a bazillion dollars probably from the LA Dodgers, like they're gonna go all in and try and get pieces in there, try and win with him. So like I like that bet knowing that there's a good chance to get reinforcements added at the deadline.
Yeah, I think the Tigers are a good team. They're my pick to win that division.
Yep. All right, so I'm up now. You're taking one of each. I'm gonna go back to the same formula that I did here. A team that knows how to win, and a pretty reasonable number here. Give me the Guardians over 79 and a half wins. Like this is an organization that, they lose people, they make moves. Obviously, they have the unfortunate situation with the closer being involved in the pitch fixing scandal. He's not there. They seem to find a way every year to find guys you've never heard of and get them to pitch well. They have a solid base of players. They got Jose Ramirez to extend long term there. They're asking me to bet on Cleveland to find a way to get to 500. I think they'll get to 500, and I think they'll get there pretty easily because that division is not any great shakes. I don't trust the Twins. The White Sox are bad. It's like two games you can see easily conceivably pick up 18 wins from games against those two teams. So I think they're in a good spot here. I'll take the over there.
I've I've learned never pick against Cleveland. I've done it before and I've got burned. Never pick against Cleveland.
All right. So Phil, where are you going next?
Um, I think I'll stay in the same division. Uh, and I'm going to give you an under here. You mentioned them. I'm under 72 and a half on the Twins. I think the Twins are primed for a 100 loss type season. They've lost Pablo Lopez. Joe Ryan's got something flaring up also. So their rotation's in shambles. Who knows how many games you get out of Buxton and Royce Lewis. Once those guys go down, we know what that team is, and it's a bad team.
Yeah, and plus, there's the uncertainty with the ownership situation there, whereas like if they're not getting people in the ballpark, they might try and order another sale to try and like get people out and save some money on payroll. Like I think this is a chance. This is another like dumpster fire year for the Twins.
I think the Twins are in deep trouble. Wouldn't be surprised if they end up trading some of their players at the deadline as well.
Yep. So those are two picks. You have gone. You and I have this. You went two unders and over. I'm two overs and an under. I'm going to go back to the underwell here, and I'm going to go to the NL East. I'm going to go under 65 and a half on Washington. And this is to me a spot where I look at the Nationals. They traded away their ace, Mackenzie Gore, because they figured out they're not going to win while he's still good. They're shopping CJ Abrams at some point. He might be on his way out the door. I don't like the pitching depth they really have there. They have a couple guys who are interesting, but there's not enough here. And the division is brutal because you got three great teams trying to win right now, and the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies. And you have the Marlins are on the way up, even though they trade some guys away. This Marlins team won like a lot of games last year and got to third place. So I don't see where the wins are coming from for Washington. So I'm going to take the under there.
I agree with that. I think Washington is in a rebuild that who knows if it'll ever end.
Yep. Yeah, this is the never-ending story for Washington. I feel like along with some of these other teams here, you gotta try and balance out here with another over. You gotta close the unders out.
No, I'm gonna go with an over actually. And I think I usually shy away from it, but I'm gonna go over on the Yankees this year at the 90 and a half. I think the number's low. I think the Yankees kind of got a bit underrated in a sense, based on their postseason dud against Toronto. This is a team, they won 94 games last year. So they won more games than anybody in the American League. They tied with Toronto. They lost to Toronto on a tiebreaker. They their advanced metrics tell you that they should have been better. And I think they've improved, albeit their lineup is more or less the same. I think they've improved the pitching. I like Weathers as an arm. Garrett Cole appears like he's on the up and up to come back. I think they have some potential in the bullpen to be much, much better with Bednar, Doval, LeGrand. If you've been following spring training, that guy will be in the major leagues this year. And I don't think it'll be very long until he's in the major leagues. And he looks like he could be the next coming of Dellin Betances. So give me the Yankees in the over.
Yeah, for me, it's an interesting number with the Yankees. I feel like that's the right spot to be in here because obviously, your team was good last year. You now have a full year of Ryan McMahon. You have Schlittler for a full year. Cole and Rodon should be back at some point, as should Volpe here. But there are regression risks, I think, with the guys like Trent Grisham. Like, how does Ben Rice play first base every day? Like, I think there's enough questions here. Like, I just don't want to touch the number. I feel like if you have a strong feeling, great. But for me, that's a stay away.
Well, the other thing with the Yankees is that you're betting on Aaron Judge's health. If Aaron Judge gets hurt, then the whole thing's over.
Yes, that's
But which is always scary when it's one player. But I do like the over, and I'm glad you mentioned McMahon. I think that's important. And look, I'm going to sit here and tell you that Ryan McMahon's a superstar. He's not. But let's remember that the Yankees had Pablo Reyes and Oswald Peraza taking serious reps at third base last year.
yeah.
And those guys are not major leaguers. So that's a major upgrade to just have a major league caliber third baseman in the lineup.
Can we, well, before we go on, can we just stop the Ryan McMahon shortstop thing? Because this is clearly a very dumb idea. They're try and squeeze some extra guys on the roster. What is wrong with carrying Oswaldo Cabrera be your utility infielder?
I think they want to carry Oswaldo. I just don't think he's ready. I
Yeah,
don't think he's recovered from the ankle injury, and I think they're trying to find a way to patch it until he's recovered.
yeah. But I mean, for 3 weeks, carry Paul DeYoung or something if you need a shortstop here. Like asking Ryan McMahon to do that and the move from third to short, at his stage of his career, I think he's asking a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The only way you're going to do it is, you're in a game and Caballero gets hit by a pitch on the wrist in the first inning, and he's got to come out of the game.
Yeah.
Then okay, then McMahon may play, give you not, but I kind of agree. The Yankee bench is a whole other conversation that we could have. It's definitely better this year.
Yeah.
It's far improved, but whether what they do with that last bench spot is still kind of up in the air.
Yep. So you went with one New York team. I'll go with the other one. I'll do the tradition of the Met over here. And
They were my next pick, so you grabbed them first.
yeah, so the Met over here, 90 and a half, same exact number of Mets and Yankees as I've seen here, which I think is an interesting situation here. The Yankees went all run it back. The Mets basically said, this is not good enough. We're going to rip this thing down a bit, get rid of the core, which is not one enough. So bye bye Pete Alonso, bye bye Brandon Nimmo, bye bye Jeff McNeil. Edwin Diaz chooses to leave. They redid their roster on the fly. They have a lot of interesting new pieces in here. They redid the clubhouse value here. And I do think having a full year of Noel McLean is huge for them. I think they're gonna get a good year out of Robert from the White Sox. I think he's gonna be re-energized getting out of that situation. I think Benj will be solid. They have a lot of pitching depth, which has really killed them last year in the rotation. Bullpen has some question marks. They can always patch that at the deadline. I think they're on a spot here where I think they're gonna ascend here. Nobody's gonna be favorite of the Dodgers here, but I think there's a good chance they win this division. And the win this division is gonna be over 91 wins. So I'll take the Mets here.
I love the Mets this year. I think the Mets are going to be very good.
Yeah.
I think Peralta and McLean gives you a legitimate 1-2 at the top of your rotation. I like that they drastically improved their defense. Robert, say what you want about his bat. We'll see what you get out of him, but he is an excellent center fielder,
Yeah.
which we know what Lindor can give you at shortstop. Simeon has definitely lost a lot bit with the bat, but he could still pick it.
He won the Gold Glove last year.
Yeah, so he could still pick it. I'm a little concerned about the corners of your infield. We'll see what you get from Polanco and Bichette defensively, but we know that both of those guys can hit. So, and then Juan Soto in left field, that won't be great, but hey, it's left field. What are you going to do? And you got Robert over there to shade. So,
Yeah. I love that spot for the Mets here. So you have two picks left, one over, one under. What are you doing here?
I will go to my. Yeah, I'm going to use an over here, and I think this one's going to come out of left field a little bit, but give me over on the Pirates. I think the Pirates are a much improved team. They're number 78 and a half. I'm not sitting here and telling you that the Pirates are going to win that division or anything like that, but I think the Pirates could go and win somewhere 80 to 85 games. I like the improvements that they've made to the roster. Their young players are getting better. They have Skeens, they have Connor Griffin, one of the best prospects of baseball, who will be up shortly. I think the Pirates are going to be a competitive team this year.
Yeah, you like it. They actually went out and tried to get pieces. Obviously, they made the big offer to Schwarber and rebuff because a lot of these guys rightfully have skepticism of the Pirates to actually commit to building in the long haul. And some we've seen teams on Miami spend big, also just trade the guys off because they don't want to pay them anymore. I think you look at the Pirates. The thing I worry about with them is am I getting, Connor Griffin on opening day? Or am I waiting till mid-May because we're worried about keeping the salaries down for future years and keeping them under club control longer? That's the thing I watch.
I think you're waiting until mid-May. I'm factoring that is the thing that worries me the most about the Pirates actually is their defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they went out and got some players who upgrades for sure. Ryan O'Hearn, for example, much better hitter than they've had, but that guy can't play defense.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of those problems across the diamond. So I'm a little worried about the Pirate defense, but I think that they're going to have a solid season. So give me the Pirates in the over.
All right. So that's the Phil's left the overs. We both have unders left here. So I'll take my last one here. And this is another one where it's like I, they just can't get out of their own way. The offseason is very confusing for them as well. I'll take them here. Under on the Angels, 70.5 wins. And I know the division outside of Seattle is not great. I don't know if you buy Texas with the Brandon Nimmo trade for Marcus Semien. Houston could be on the way down here, but what exactly the Angels do to give you confidence they can clear this number?
That organization gives me no confidence at all about anything.
They wasted the
That
prime
that
they had Mike Trout in his prime, Shohei Ohtani together, couldn't make the playoffs.
that organization is just it's a bad organization. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have Oswald Peraza playing first base. So uh, yeah, I support the under there.
Yeah, I'm taking a look right now at what the Angel depth chart is here in terms of positions here. Like the rotation is right now, Yusei Kikuchi is the ace, Jose Soriano, Reed Detmers, Grayson Rodriguez, and Alek Manoah.
Yep, no, thank you.
Yeah, and you got a lineup here: Logan O'Hoppe, Shanwell, Christian Moore, Yohan Moncada, Zach Neto, who's good, Josh Lowe, Mike Trout, Joe Adell, and Jorge Soler. That is not inspiring ton of confidence for me, especially with Trout's injury issues.
I I agree.
Yeah,
Can't say much more. I agree. That is a strong under.
yeah, and all the Met fans who whine about what Steve Cohen does and some of his things here, you want the Wilpon Mets experience, go root for the Angels.
The Angels are that might be the worst run organization in baseball.
I mean,
The
that's
Rockies are up there, but
yeah, it defines incompetent versus cheap. That's also a debate that you have to watch some of these teams, and this is incompetence.
yeah, they'll spend money. They
Although,
can't. They're just bad.
although they've not exceeded the luxury tax since 2003,
Yeah, they'll spend up to a certain level, but they're not going too far.
which is why I think the Wilpon comp is apt for Artie Moreno at this point.
Yeah, that is what he seems.
All right, so your last pick, you have the pick of the litter of what unders are left. So where are you going here?
That's a tough under. A lot of numbers here that are, I think, just about right. So once you get to this point, you're kind of just going on a hunch a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, but you know, I don't like what's going on in Atlanta with the injuries that they've sustained in spring training to the pitching staff. Um, so that's going to be my under. I'm going under in Atlanta. I've got the number at 87 and a half. I just think that they're kind of snake bit. I know Spencer Strider's got another issue.
I think his velo was down last I saw.
Yeah, his velo's down. He's hurt. They've got
Schwellenbach is down for a while.
Wellenbach's down with an injury. They lost Joey Wentz now for the whole season with a torn ACL. They're just and not that Wentz was going to be a stud for them, but you know that's another arm in the rotation. Their rotation is down and beat up,
Yeah,
and I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome it.
yeah, and they also have a lot of questions on guys who have injury issues. Obviously, Acuna, can he stay on the field? Azavi Albi's cooked because he's not been the same guy for years. Was Austin Riley a one-hit wonder? Sean Murphy has not been great for them here before he got supplanted by Drake Baldwin. You have Michael Harris. What the hell happened with him last year? They lost Profar to steroids for the whole season, so that's another
Right,
strike.
that's another that's another loss that they had. Yep, so
Yeah,
far.
the vibes down there are very bad.
Yeah, and 87 and a half. I mean, again, in this I know that doesn't sound like a whole lot if you compare it to the baseball that you and I maybe remember from growing up, but in modern baseball, winning 88 games, that is a good baseball team in modern baseball.
Yeah, that gets you the playoffs most of the time now.
Yeah. So I I don't know. I don't know if Atlanta is as good as the Mets and the Phillies. I don't think they are.
All right, so to reset the board here, this is where we ended up for the 2026 season here. I went with the Brewers over 84 and a half, the Cardinals under 69 and a half, the Guardians over 79 and a half, Washington under 65 and a half, the Mets over 90 and a half, and the Angels under 70 and a half. Like I just kind of went like most of my usuals I feel like are in the mix here. I think the Cardinals and Nationals are new to my board.
Yeah. It's amazing how some of these teams just same thing every year with these guys.
Yep. Phil's picks at the Dodgers under 102 and a half, Tigers over 85 and a half, Twins under 72 and a half, Yankees over 90 and a half. First time in a few years they've taken the Yankee number on this thing.
Yeah, the last time I took it, I hit it. So hopefully I hit it again.
Yeah, the Pirates over 78 and a half, and the Braves under 87 and a half. And we'll throw out as a caveat here. We are recording on Tuesday, March 10th, because I have a lot of stuff going on with March Man. I want to make sure we got this in the can before the season starts here. So if there are any injuries from like the WBC or camp that affect players that are on here, just be aware we recorded this early. So that like that is not on us at that point.
Yes, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Let's see what injuries are. There's one last name that I want to drop here when it comes to the Tigers. If you haven't seen him yet, you should watch him. This kid, Kevin McGonigal, their prospect, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable talent, and I think he will make a tremendous difference this year. So check him out if you haven't yet. He can hit, he can run, he can field. He's the real deal.
Yeah. A lot of fun stuff here. Phil, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the baseball season.
You too, Mike.